And a jolly good morning to you from the Black Sea here in Bulgaria, more specifically the resort of Nessebar, which is basically sunny beach, if any of you have heard of that part of the Black Sea in Bulgaria. A very popular resort, has been for many years, but specifically I'm in the town and resort of Nesebur, and I'm going to take a walk today along the beach to Old Nessebar, a World Heritage Site and area and a place of great beauty, so I am led to understand. I've never been there before, and I'm approximately 2 kilometers away from there right now, so I'm going to take a walk along the beach and we'll have a look around at what there is between here, down on the edge of Nesebar, by this beautiful bay. Actually, it's 8:30 in the morning, not too many people out on the beach yet. There's a few people in the sea already over there. The beach bar hasn't actually opened yet. I think that opens at 10 o'clock if I read the sign correctly, and one or two people just chilling out over on the other side there, fishing and enjoying this fantastic morning. It's about 25 Celsius, and I believe it's going to go up to about 30 later on. So I'm going to crack on now before it gets too warm for my old bones, and go and see what this resort has got to offer. But it's absolutely beautiful down here at the moment. I've just tried using my very trusty Go Jauntly app. I'm not too sure it is really designed for beach resorts by the Black Sea. So it's routing me rather strangely into these rocks over here. So I think there must be a turn off and a walk along the top of the cliffs over there. I see a car at the top, so there must be some sort of road. I'm going to head on up to there, and as I say, Nessebar, we should see once we get round the corner, kind of sticks out like a little island, really, connected by a thin kind of bridge or jetty. So should be able to see that once we get up over there. Doesn't seem to be a way to walk around the beach or seawater level just down there, so just feel more to walk through kind of a hotel and restaurant. Much to the bemusement of people in there. Bit of building work still going on in just this part of town. I'm sure they'll be finished at some time. That's it. I'm not completely out of condition. That was a very steep hill I just had to walk up. Google Maps is sending me along this road here, so with a combo of Google Maps and the Go Jauntly app, I'll hopefully find my way to Old Nessebar, going this way by the sea. There are some rather tatty bits of land, probably owned by somebody, but nothing been done with them yet, so tends to be where people go and throw all their rubbish. It's going to be a scorcher today, I think. Certainly is very warm now already. Quite humid too. So this is really nice actually. Once you get out here, it's going to go down to this promontory. There's a car or a camper van or something parked down there. I think someone's probably stayed there the night. And because it's still quite early in the morning, it's very quiet, not too many people about yet, and ideal for a walk first thing in the morning. very similar to Greece really, Bulgaria, or mainland Greece anyway, albeit next to a different sea. That's the first site of old Nesebur. It's clearly a place people drive to. I think there must be a beach down below there. Let's just go and have a quick look. Oh, I love the sound of the sea. I don't know if that's picking up on the... Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, so this would be an ideal place to drive and park your car. It's quite a steep cliff, so I'm guessing you need to walk along that way a little bit. There's quite a few people out on the beach already, just looking down there. And in the sea, I did dip my toes in the sea yesterday, briefly. It's still quite early in the season, so the sea's not really warmed up to cool bath water level, but it's still nice enough. As with all coolish ventures into water, if you're getting quick, once you're in, it's okay. And there's definitely people in there swimming this morning. In fact, quite a lot of people swimming there over on in the distance. Now, I think I'm going to try and get down to beach level and walk round this way. This part of the beach does appear to be an area where it's fine to not have your clothes on, so I'm probably going to not film too much just along this section, but I will go down to the beach and walk to Nessebar along the beach. Two reasons really. One, it remains flat. I love walking right next to the sea, even if my shoes aren't quite right for that today. I could have put flip-flops on, of course, sliders, thongs, whatever you want to call them, but walking great distances in them is not brilliant. It's like a bit of a climb down the rocks here. Let's just let this couple in front of me get ahead, and then I'll get down to the sea edge and point my camera away from some sites you may not wish to see. Seem to have got past the no swimming shorts enclave behind me, and back to an area of the beach where everyone is more modestly dressed, let's say. And of course, as we get more towards the centre of the resort along here, there's more facilities as well, such as umbrellas and sun loungers and so on to rent, and some beach bars, etc. Nice beach, very nice beach, has to be said. Well, certainly in the section now with lots of people and lots of beach bars, sun loungers and umbrellas to sit underneath. What I tend to find with these holiday resorts, that not really many use all those sun loungers. Some will do, some will pay the price, but they do tend to be a little bit overpriced. I've got absolutely no idea how much it costs here, to be fair. And that's quite often the problem as well. I think that prices aren't particularly well advertised, and sometimes those collecting the money make it up as they're going along, if you get my drift, dependent on who they've got sat there. But I'm sure there probably are signs somewhere and you've got some really quite, you know, the posher variety there, individual, not beds really, I don't know what you call those. But yeah, nobody in them. You tend to find most people, unless it's a beach where really you can't avoid renting sun loungers and so on, because they've just taken up the entire beach, which is the case in some resorts. People just tend to come and bring their own deck chairs and umbrellas and what have you, which is the case here when you have a look. Well, there's a sort of a handwritten sign in Bulgarian, 50 it says on it. If that's the case, then that's, if that's 50 lev, is it? Lever. That's about £22, $25, 25 euros roughly. I would imagine that's for the whole day. And for two of you can fit on there. So if that is the case, that is yeah, if you do that every day, it's quite expensive. So it's probably the reason why there aren't too many people actually sat on those. Bulgaria used to be a very inexpensive place to holiday. But as I've become more integrated with the European Union, it's less so now. I've just looking around at the prices for things such as food and drink. Yes, it is definitely lower prices than, say, somewhere like Spain and Italy and Greece, but it's not the bargain bucket prices of yesteryear, that's for sure. But then again, I don't think anywhere is anymore. Maybe one or two exceptions around the world, but generally speaking, with globalisation, so are the prices. You do tend to find, though, countries that have got their own currency as opposed to using the euro, US dollar, or countries like Britain with the pound. The prices on the whole are somewhat less than they generally speaking are in the other countries. But yeah, I wouldn't say there was a huge difference in price, and certainly I popped into a shop yesterday to get a few provisions, and I'd say at the most 10 or 15% lower in prices at the supermarket. And again, it depends on what you buy, doesn't it? Depends on what you buy and where you are. But in terms of nice beach, sunshine, it's a good value for money place, and certainly somewhere I'd consider coming for an actual holiday. A lot of Russian voices and people from Bulgaria, of course, holiday in their own country. Of course they do. There are quite a few Polish voices as well, and one or two others that I can't quite decipher, and I suspect they were Slavic languages I was listening to. Got to the centre of the resort, really, the beach resort part of Nessebar, and needless to say, there's most of the hotels are up there, and of course most of the people to go with it. One thing I will say, I flew into the airport of Burgas. There's Varna and Burgas at kind of each end of Sunny Beach, which is a very long stretch of sand. I think they're about 70 kilometres apart, if memory serves me correctly, which is 40 something miles apart. So it's completely full of beach resorts between the two. And let's say most people arriving on the flights yesterday seem to be coming from the UK. Maybe it has certain days when certain flights come from certain countries. So it is the case in certainly airports that cater mostly for holidaymakers. But there were flights also coming from plenty of other places too. But Most of the people arriving were on package holidays, and there were reps there. There was a lot of people waiting with little names on iPads or on pieces of paper for people that have arranged transfers to accommodation. For not solo travellers, it's independent travellers arriving, the arrangements to get here were fairly limited to taxis and a reasonably incomprehensible bus service. It was difficult to work it all out properly. There seemed to be one bus that takes you to Burgas city itself, and there seemed to be the need to change buses once you'd left the airport onto another bus to come this way. I might have got that wrong, but the buses that seemed to run up the coast to Sunny Beach from Burgas didn't also appear to go into the airport as well, just close by it. So the cynic in me says that's something to do with pressure from local taxi operators who are buzzing around. Excuse me, brought that frog with me. That are buzzing around trying to grab business. Sometimes is the case, local politics and so on, that mean public transport isn't as easy to use as it really should be. Just a point I noted, really. I mean, the language barrier obviously doesn't help, and the writing in Bulgarian is quite difficult to decipher, but if you make a small effort with that and use Google Translate, you can do that. It's been directed off the beach now by the app, just to go up to the road, which will lead me round to the kind of jetty that takes you out to Old Nessebar. And some welcome shade actually for a few minutes, because that's getting really quite warm down there. Some quite smart looking hotels and apartments just along here, and one or two that don't look quite so smart, but not too bad all in all. Parking doesn't appear to be too much of an issue around these parts. We did consider hiring a car for the brief amount of time that we've come here for, and that probably would have been a sensible option, all things considered, with the let's just say interesting bus ride we had yesterday, and the amount of time it took to get to here from the airport. I think we went, it felt like we'd gone via Varna, although we didn't do. There's a sign there, looks like it's just like a public park just up those steps, but there is a sign clearly stating private property, no entry, so it must be part of a hotel or something. That doesn't say what it's part of. It looks, I can understand why people would just wander in there, and so therefore I'm routed back down to sea level. Certainly lots of cooking going on at the moment in these cafes, and ooh, some lovely smells. Not quite ready for it yet. One thing that also strikes me is lots of signs, both in English, Bulgarian, and one or two other languages, and photographs advertising the food at various establishments. Not too much in the way of prices shown, which again always makes me slightly wary, but I'm sure on their actual menus inside, once you're in, there'll be some prices to look at. More of a family beach here, nobody walking around with all on display, thankfully. Lovely little safe bay here actually, just with a bit of a breakwater there, just to keep the waves smaller for the small, fell down a hole, for the smaller children. Quite a nice relaxed vibe actually going on here. Certainly this end of the beach is the area you'd come with your family, small children and so on. Footpaths carved into the hillside here, which is a nice place just to take a walk just away from the actual sea level beach down the bottom there. And appears to be an outdoor gym. There seems to be a few of those knocking about. There's one on the beach where I started this video from. And a children's playground up there too. Still fairly quiet in the resorts. I'm presuming the peak of the peak season is July and August. At the moment it's June, and I'm not sure what the school holiday arrangements are for a lot of Europeans, but there doesn't seem to be that many children here. There's some quite young ones, preschool age, and of course anyone that's got a family will tell you earlier in the season, when the prices are lower and your children aren't going to school yet, is the best time to go, and the weather's not normally quite as extreme either. But of course, once July and August comes along, the schools are out, and that's when most families have to take their summer vacation. So I imagine this will get a lot busier with a lot more children once that's the case. I certainly tend to try and avoid school holidays where possible. Not because I don't like kids running around everywhere, far from it, but price-wise, there is usually a staggering difference in price. This is a lovely little beach area here, absolutely phenomenal. And I've just got to check my app and see which way to go, but I think I need to go back down. Got a choice of going up there and up a very steep hill, or down these steps and stay at sea level. I think sea level wins it on this occasion. So I am using an app, but doesn't really need one here. I can see where I'm heading for, and it looks a straightforward prospect to get there. Just walking just behind the back of what's advertised as the yacht marina. Yacht port, as it says on a sign, yacht port Nessebar. alcohol and tobacco shop. That says what it is on the tin. A few nice yachts in there. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear to be actually open. All the fridges, some prices there for you, but obviously there's nothing in there to compare them. But it's just over 2 to the pound Bulgarian lev. Approximately, I'd say, pretty much on 2 euros. 2 lev to 1 euro, and probably just less than 2 levs for US dollars. So basically I'm calling a lev 50 pence, and or 50 cents as an approximation. Right, so we're going to come out here now to the jetty over to old Nessebar, which clearly at one time was an island or just connected to the mainland by sand spit or something. It's obviously turned into something much more than that now, and when you look over the other side, just over there, I'm not sure if that's coming out on the camera at the moment, how built up it is over on Sunny Beach, and how long it is, and how far it extends for. But this is a nice easy walk over. There's a fun fair over there as well, but I walk all the way around to Sunny Beach, and along the front there probably will be just slightly more of the same that we've just come past so far. Beach bars, nice sandy beach, people chilling out. Let's go and have a look around old Nesebър. Quite amusing comment I received on one of my videos. Someone said I was unprofessional and unprepared to give information about wherever it happened to be. I think it was somewhere in Germany or Poland. I can't quite remember where it was now, but yeah, no, that's how I do it. I don't. I travel as a hapless tourist, just wandering about, stumbling across places. I don't do too much homework and walk around with reams of paper with facts and figures on population. I just talk about the stuff that I observe along the way. The only homework I do is to make sure I'm pointing in the direction of the place I want to actually go and see. So that's sort of homework in itself, I suppose. But even then, sometimes I'll just step outside of the accommodation and just follow my nose and walk towards something that looks interesting. But sometimes places do not need to be found, you just know that they're there, and Nesebър is one of those places that I've heard about, never been to, don't know an awful lot about it other than it's a World Heritage Site, and we're just approaching it now. And I shall just wander around and point my camera at interesting things. If you like that sort of thing, please click on the like. If you want to see more videos of my unprofessional and unprepared videos about places here, there and everywhere, then press subscribe. It's free, it doesn't cost anything. And if you press on the yellow bell, apparently that lets you know when new videos come out. I've got quite a few hundred in there already of this very poor style that I adopt, apparently. But I'll let you be the judge of that. I have to say, just walking up towards, well, let's call it an island. I'm sure that's really what it is. It looks fantastic from here, and there is actually parking on here. A sign there telling you how many parking spaces there are still available. And I would have thought somewhere like this would have not had parking on it itself, and you'd have to park back there. There was a car park just back where I started coming across the bridge or jetty, and then you'd be expected to walk the rest of the way, or run one of those little street train things to get you across. But it looks like buses come over here as well. Right, so what we're going to do, old fortifications there. I'm going to head up in that general direction straight across the road there, and walk to the centre of this island. I can see straight away there's going to be plenty here to keep someone occupied for a reasonable amount of time, if you like historic and ancient buildings to look around. There's the tourist information centre, a third of a kilometre, that must be right, smack bang. It's only a little small island, so I should be able to walk around it fairly comfortably in an hour or so. There's and not really no commission exchange there. That gives you the rate. So euro 1959, British pound 2.31, which 2.31 actually is quite a good rate compared with the rate for I think I bought something using my Chase card, which is supposed to give you a near perfect rate of 2.28 yesterday for the pound. However, do be very wary of these cash exchanges. When they say no commission, it doesn't always mean no commission. Some nice interesting little cafes here. I want to avoid those things as well. The Euronet cash points. Go to a cash point at a proper bank and get yourself a card that doesn't, well, at least your bank doesn't charge you any fees for drawing out cash. You'll get the best rate, and even though the machine may well charge you €1 or €2 in local currency for the privilege, those Euronets charge an absolute fortune and give you a poor rate as well. So yeah, quite an interesting selection of shops here, many of which aren't actually open yet. It's just gone 9 o'clock in the morning, so they're probably more likely open about 10, I would think, and stay open till quite late. If you're here on holiday and your primary activity is sitting around the pool or the beach, this is the sort of place you would come to later in the day when you've had enough of that. A lot of signs advertising WC's toilets. Again, presumably that's a fee. Pinocchio Cafe, Bar and Pizza, Hotel, Pontica Restaurant and a supermarket. Very nicely, nice frontage on it, in keeping with the general vibe of the place. The cobbled stones, the old square, this building here. It's got a sign up saying do not go in it. Restoration activities going on. Beautiful, beautiful building. course, along with such historic beauty comes tourists and tourist tat and tourist traps, so beware. You know where they are, they're everywhere. And here we go. Get yourself some draft Guinness if that's your thing, and a big busted T-bone steak with chips. Fantastic. Yeah. Oh, there's shops selling gold as well, gold and silver. None of them appear to be open at the moment. Another buyer beware kind of scenario, I'm sure. But it's very nice. I'm glad I've come here first thing in the morning, actually, while it's relatively quiet. I'm sure this gets a lot busier later in the day, particularly the evening time. In fact, I may well come back in the evening just to see what it's like. Excuse my husky voice. I've got a bit of a sore throat and a cold on the go at the moment. I think it's just this dipping in and out from the warm sunshine into air-conditioned rooms doesn't really agree with me very well, but hey ho. And the shop specifically advertising Bulgarian wine, which is of a reasonable standard. That's interesting. Cigarettes, 10 times Marlboros, pack of Marlboro, which presumes 20s, 66 leather, which is what, that's about £30 for 200 cigarettes. That's sort of on a par with a duty-free shop, I think. I'm not a smoker, so I don't really know, but what I do know is that's a lot less than buying them from shops in the UK. Yeah, most places are just starting to spring into life slowly. 1 or 2 doors opening and shutters coming up now, and goods being put out, probably 10 o'clock, sounds to me. Now that looks like a lovely view through there. Just went past an interesting shop there, some glycerine soap and homemade jam. How homemade it is and in whose home it was made in is possibly something to debate about, but if you like that sort of thing. As I see, there's a normal cash point machine there belonging to, I think this must be a bank, an actual bank. So I would imagine using your debit card there would be your best option, although I'm sure it probably still does charge. Just going to go up to this, I think this is just steps leading down to a restaurant actually, and yes it is. And what a fabulous place to sit and have a meal there, overlooking the Black Sea. Beautiful. A low-key love lock area I've found. If you've ever been to Cologne and seen the love locks across the railway bridge over the Rhine there, you'll see how low-key this is in comparison. That I'd love to know actually if there's anywhere that's got more love locks on it than that bridge in Cologne. It's absolutely incredible until you see it. There must be millions, literally. Here there's about a couple of hundred quite rusty looking love locks, and no one's put one there for a while. There's the restaurant I was just on the top of. Now this just looks so much like Greece, doesn't it? Little tavernas right next to the water with the sea lapping up. So I'm going to go carry on round now at this sea level. It's only a small island, and get to the furthest point and then walk back up through the town itself, back to where I was just a few minutes ago. It almost feels like a bit of a service road down here. I'll see how far I can get. Very peaceful. Very tidy as well, I have to say. Not too much litter being left lying about by people, which is good. One of my biggest bugbears. If you've watched any of my other videos, I'm forever whinging on about litter being left. But I do really dislike unnecessary activities by people. Plenty of bins about. No excuse here. Little boat here that's doubles as a bar, I think. Yeah, it does. I've got the feeling that I'm just ahead of the main tourist season here. If this was parts of Spain, it would already be absolutely rocking and rolling already. I think it's a shorter season here. Certainly not because of the weather, because the weather's absolutely splendid today. And as far as I can make out, has been like that for quite a while. Some more tavernas up there, advertising Bulgarian cuisine, fish, soup of the day, cold beer, and a kids zone. So yeah, and somewhere to park your car if you drive here. That's one thing I wasn't expecting to see here either on Nesebar, Old Nesebar Island. Keep calling it an island, but I suppose it is. It's a bit of a beach there. Not much of one, but a beach is a beach. I'm going to walk round to that jetty. So I've gone to the furthest point, then head back up into the old town. See what else there is to see before we call it a day on this video. Beautiful, very peaceful just here. If it wasn't for the guys shouting at each other up there that are doing some painting and decorating. I really do like the vibe of Nessebar. Yeah, it's got its tourist trap shops, but the shops wouldn't be there if we didn't like them, would they? Let's face it, they're there because people go and buy the stuff. And you know, when it's packaged up, sold as homemade and made to look unique and not like the sort of stuff you can buy down your average high street anywhere, then we're always keen to go and buy those sorts of things and take them home as souvenirs. So it's all good. I can't see anything here that's fake. It's very much a genuine place with the usual facilities for tourists, and of course it's your choice whether you buy from those places or not. Of course you're going to maybe not get the most authentic food in a place like Old Nesebar, and it won't be at a price that locals would expect to pay, but that goes for absolutely everywhere you go to in the world. Here is absolutely no exception whatsoever. And the sea is absolutely crystal clear. Really nice. And what I shall do once I've finished my little video today, I'm going to go and slip into something more comfortable, so to speak, and head down the beach myself and jump in that water. The water here actually it looks crystal clear. Back where I started the video, not quite so, but that's because it's a sandy beach. They tend to look a bit cloudier. The water tends to look a bit cloudier. Plenty of accommodation on here. That's one thing I wasn't expecting to find, actually, accommodation. I just thought it was a World Heritage Site, an old town to look around with accompanying shops, and that was that. But no, it's got quite a lot for those that want to be actually in Old Nesebър. Probably not the most picturesque pier or jetty you'll ever come across, but it does the job for sure, and it certainly protects this little bay from waves and so on, makes it ideal for children there, like we've got there, playing around in the sea. Boona Beach, actually, is written on the side of that boat over there, Boona Beach. It's certainly not difficult to find a little corner to yourself here. Not a big fan of sunbathing on concrete, but I guess it stops sand getting in places you don't want it to. Very busy over there, or very, well, so busy, very built up. Sunny beach. One thing I did notice when flying into Burgas was the beauty of the landscape here in Bulgaria. Very rural once you get outside of the big towns and cities, and some certainly look like some excellent places to go hiking. This little tiny Nessebar island is bigger than it looked on the map, and bigger than my imagination had it down as well. Probably just about to complete a lap in a moment, just down here. Then I'll walk back up into the old town area and conclude this particular video, I think, as I'm just going to be walking back in the direction I came. There's the jetty just over there that I walked across earlier. Just coming back round a full lap of Nesebar Island, and I see some steps there. I'm going to take a punt and take that route out of this car park. That should take me back into the old town, and just slightly different route through back to the main centre where I was earlier on. Hopefully. I might be panting by the top of those steps. There's quite a lot of them and they look very steep. So here goes. Yeah, puffing slightly. There was quite a few steps, so I think that was the right move to make. Got into the town here. Beautiful cobbled streets here. I'm most definitely going to have to stop for a cool, refreshing drink shortly. It's hard work doing all of this. I do love signs that drink, launch, dinner. Well, that was a fabulous little walk around old Nessebar. I'm going to call it a day actually. So thank you for watching. As I say, if you'd like to click like, that would be much appreciated. Subscribe if you want to see some other videos from here, there and sort of everywhere really. What I am going to do is come back tonight, maybe do another video, or just come out and chill out here, where I suspect it's going to be an awful lot busier than it currently is. If I see anything else of interest over the next few minutes, then I shall add them onto the end of this video. Absolutely lovely place. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Or I'll see you again in a moment if I come across something else. You weren't really permitted to film inside there, so I respected that. It's an Orthodox church, and in fact there was a christening just about to happen with a family in there, so I'll just come out straight away. But it's quite interesting church to have a look around. You can go in if there's christening going on. It's not closed to the public or anything like that. Just one little part of it is closed for the family to enjoy their christening. That was interesting. Hotel Prince Cyril. What a great name. Never heard of a Prince Cyril. I'm pretty sure we've not had one in the UK. Prince Cyril. Not a name you hear amongst royalty very often. Right, that really is it. I'm back to this fabulous building just here. In fact, let's just go and, if they've got it in English, actually explain what it is. One nave church. St. Paraskeva Church. Obviously no vehicles for a good 5 to 10 minutes suddenly come when I start videoing. There you go. Right, that is it. Fantastic place, old Nessebar. Do come if you're in this part of Bulgaria. I would suggest it's probably an evening place really, or late afternoon, when you've had your fill of beach and pool and fancy a little walk around, get an ice cream, plenty of souvenirs here. Say nothing's overpriced. By Bulgarian standards perhaps it is slightly, but nothing too extreme. And I noticed the price of beer wasn't particularly expensive. That is a museum. It looks like that is just opening up now as well, so maybe pop in there later on and have a look around there too. So thank you for watching this video. It really is the end this time, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers for now.